Right then, June 2012, paper 1, non-calculator paper. There we go. Reflect the triangle on the line y equals 2. So where is y equal to 2? There's the y-axis, y is 2 is there. So that there, be mirror line. And so we're going to reflect it over. It's going to look a little bit like that. Number 2, algebra. Rock on. So expand the brackets, 3x minus 18, hopefully. Factorise means to put into a bracket. So 5 goes into both. So 5 comes outside of the bracket, y minus 2 goes in it. So that whenever we were to multiply out that bracket, we'd get 5y minus 10. Again, 1 mark, but they come up a lot, so be sure to be able to do them. I will say this again, that minus sign there is what you need to be wary of, because they can be a bit tricky. So expanding the first bracket out, we've got 12w plus 3, then minus 5 times 3 is minus 15w, and it's still minus 5, so minus 5 times minus 2 is positive 10. Now putting them together, 12 minus 15 is minus 3w, and 3 plus 10 is 13. And there's your answer. Right, I like this question, and there's quite a few ways of doing it, so you might do it slightly differently. I would start with exterior angle equals 360 divided by number of sides. Here's our rule. So for us, that's 360 divided by 6, which is 60 degrees. Now the interior angle plus exterior angle equals 180 degrees. So interior angle equals 180 minus 60, which is 120 degrees. So we've shown what they've asked us to show, that is equal to 120. And there are different ways you could do sum of interior angles and then divide by 6, different ways. This looks like trial and error to me, to be honest. In the diagram, the 3 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 7 are left, and they add up to 14. I mean, immediately I'll be looking at the highest number and saying, well, 14. So this number here can't be a 5, because then this number here can't be anything. So if we go with 4 there, and then that'll be a 1 down here, will be fine. But then 6 add 4 is 10, and that'd have to be a 4 there as well, which is no good. So that can't be 4. So let's try 3. 9 and 3 is 12. 2 is 14. Down the middle here, 3 and 6 is 9. Add 5 is 14. Going along the middle, 8 add 5 is 13. So add 1 for 14. 9 add 1 is 10. Add 4 is 14, and down here 8, 10, 14 on top then. 4 add 3 is 7, add 7 is 14, and check the others, 7, 12, 14 that way, 7, 8, 14 that way, 14 always. And I should imagine there's probably other ways of doing it as well. Complete the scatter graph for the ice cream sales. Temperature against sales. Okay, so they've done January to June. We've got to do July, so January, March, July. Temperature 22 and 39 on the sales. So 22 is there, 39 on the sales is there. I'm not sure I've got that perfect. It's a bit tricky on the computer, but I'm sure you lot will manage. 29 is 47. Oh, good day, well done Mr. Whitby. So that's there. 20 degrees is 36, so slightly under there. 14 degrees is 28, 14 is 28, 10 is 22, not so good, and finally 4 degrees, done well with cell 23. So once you've done that, the average midday temperature is predicted to be 25. Use a graph to estimate the ice cream sales. So line of best fit for us is something that goes approximately through the middle of them. So I would say that is our line of best fit. And the midday temperature is predicted to be 25. So I'll line up at 25, and then across, he's going to tell me that he's going to sell around about 40 tons. Seems like a lot of ice cream. Sorted. In December 2012, the average midday temperature, I should say that last one, if you've got 39, 41, even 38, 42, that'll be fine as well. As long as you're close to that answer, that'll be fine. In December 2012, the average midday temperature is predicted to be 5 degrees higher than in December 2011. Should the company increase its production of ice cream for December 2012? What do you reckon? Right, just because the temperature has improved, it's not likely you're going to sell many more ice creams in December, because people don't tend to buy ice creams in December. So I would say that's a no on that one, and the reason being is because people don't tend to buy ice cream in the winter, even if it is likely to be slightly warmer, it will still be cold. Something like that I think will be just fine and dandy. Number 6.
Number 6. Do you have to do?
So, number 6, I need to get myself a ruler, and I'm not going to be able to do this for the actual paper, so I'm going to have to do it for myself, and then you can work out how to do it from there, really. Alright, so work out the area of the circle, give your answer in terms of pi. So, first job, measure it. I don't know this for a fact, but I should imagine it'll probably be quite a nice number. So I'm going to make it 3 for me. Okay, so you measure your radius, write that down, radius equals 3 centimetres, and then area equals pi r squared. So for us, that's going to be pi times the radius squared, and the radius squared is 9. So our answer is 9 pi. And then the key to this one, to get the extra mark, is we need to state units as well. So centimetre squared, you get a mark for that. So 1 mark for measuring radius, that'll be slightly different for you than it is for me. 1 mark for saying rule, 1 for working it out properly, and 1 for stating the units. I would think that's how the mark scheme goes on that one. Number 7, algebra, rock on. Right then, so get rid of your lowest amount of x's first. So get rid of 2x from this side, and from the other side we shall get to that. And now we want to get rid of the minus 5, so we're going to add 5 on. So that will add 5 onto both sides, and we shall get to there. And then divide by 4, well 18 divided by 4, it's a bit tricky. Whenever I divide by 4, just half it and half it. So half of 18 is 9, and half of that is 4.5. So your answer is 4.5. Right, work out the value of x. Star question. So you get points for showing you're working out, so definitely give reasons for this one. Alright, I would start by working out a. So I'll label that up a, and I would say a equals 62, and a reason as opposite angles are equal. Opposite angles at a point. like that. Then I'd say after that, the bit that you need to notice now is that there's a Z angle here. That line there, going down there like so. Oh, I haven't drawn it very well. Is your Z, meaning that A and B are equal to each other. So B equals 62, and what do we call Z angles? Alternate angles are equal. So B is 62. Next thing is C. You don't actually need to draw on your Z angle. Okay, we can just state that all angles are equal and draw on if it makes you happy. So C is also 62. Why is that? Because it's an isosceles triangle, this length here and that length there are equal, so B and C are equal. Isosceles triangle. So finally, to get to X is 180 minus 62 minus 62. Angles in triangle add up to 180. So X is going to be 62, 62 is 124. Take that off, you're going to get 56 degrees. And Z is going to be your answer. Alright, now 3 marks, so you've probably gone over the top with the working out on that one. But as soon as I see that style there, I'm thinking I'm going to go overboard with my working out. I'm going to say every single reason for every step that I've done. Alright, number 9. This looks like a good one. The mean weight of the 5 players is 58, the reserve weight 64. Work out the mean of all 6 team members. Okay, so the team, or 5 players, equals 5 times 58 kilograms, because that's our average. So 5 times 58 is going to be 290 kilograms. And again, use grid method on that if you need to work it out. So now 6 players is going to be 290 plus the reserve, 64. So that's going to be 354 kilograms. So now mean of 6 players equals 354 divided by 6. Easy, he says, but I can't remember now if it's calculator or non-calculator. Non-calculator. Mate, you're going to have to think and everything. Right, so it's up to you how you do this. You can do bus shop method. 6 is 354, like so. And then we say, well, how many times does 6 go into 35? 5 times, remainder 5. Because 6 times 5 is 30, so 35. And then how many times 6 go into 54? 9. So there's my answer, is 59. If you don't like that, you could say, well, 6 times 50 equals 300. 6 times 9 equals 54. So 6 times 59 must be 354. So you could do it sort of in that sort of method. Either way, your answer is going to be 59 kg, 59 kilograms. And there's your answer. Number 10. Oh, algebra and shape mixed together. What a killer. Right, we want to be splitting this up into 2 rectangles. Alright, so that whole area of that whole thing is equal to 12. So we're going to look at the first one. This area here is going to be 3 lots of x plus 2. And this one is going to be 1 lot of x. So if I was to work that out, I've got myself 3 lots of x plus 2 plus x is going to give me my area, which is 12. So expand it, 3x plus 6 plus x is going to equal 12. And put your x's together. 4x plus 6 equals 12. Now if I take 6 off this side, I've got 4x equals 6. And dividing 6 by 4, you're going to get 1.5. And that is your answer. 4 marks for that. I should imagine there's 1 mark for working out them two, 1 for putting them together to equal 12, and then 2 for solving it, I should think. Relative frequencies of the number of absences in school on 5 days are shown. There are 1,600 students in school. How many more absences were there on Friday than on Monday? Right, so let's do Friday first. So on Friday the relative frequency is 0.05, so to work out how many people are off, we just do that times the number of people altogether. Easy. And then on Monday the relative frequency is 0.03 times 1,600, and then work them out. Now the tricky bit is actually working them out. So I would say that 0.05 times 100 is 5, so actually that there is the same as 5 times 16. So we can times this by 100 and divide this by 100 or times that by 100, as long as we do the same to both. We'll be there, which means that our people who are absent that day is going to be 80 kids. Same thing on this one. So that is the same as 3 times 16. Times the first one by 100, divide the second one by 100. So that's 48. So difference equals 80 minus 48. Which equals 32. And again, as I was doing that, I could think of different ways of doing that as well. You could have said that the difference between the two is 0.02 and times that by 1600 will give you 32 and you go straight to the answer. So, yeah, different ways of doing it. That's the way I went about it. Number 12, simultaneous equations. Whoop whoop. So, simultaneous equations, first job, check, are they both linear? Yep, there's no squares or cubes in here. So if they're linear, then we just number them up 1 and 2, and we need to make them have the same amount of one of the variables. So I'm going to times my top one by 3, and my bottom one by 2. So I'm going to do 1 times 3 and 2 times 2. The reason for that is I'm then going to have 6x and 6x on there. So on the top one I'm going to have times it by 3, so I've got 6x plus 12y equals 3. So I times every variable by 3, and I'm going to times every variable by 2, so 6x minus 10y equals 14. So let's rename them now 3 and 4. Essentially they're the same equations, just a bit bigger. So now I need to get rid of x, so I'm going to have to take these away from each other. So I'm going to do equation 3, let's do in brackets, minus equation 4. So if I do that, 6x, so 6x is nothing, 12y minus 10y is going to be 22y, and that's going to equal 3 minus 14, which is minus 11. So then that is going to be, well, 11 divided by 22 is the same as a half, so it's going to be minus a half, or minus 0.5. Alright, so I can get that value. Now how do I get my x value? I'm going to substitute that into one of the equations. So let's sub into number 1, because it's a positive sign, so it's probably going to be a bit easier on my calculations. So 2x, I don't know yet, plus 4y, well 4 lots of a half is 2, but it's negative, so I'm going to take 2, it's going to equal 1. So 2x is going to equal 3, which means that x is going to equal 1.5. So I've got my answers. The last thing I need to do is do a check. Let's check number 2. So 3x, that'll be 4.5, minus 5y, or 5 lots of that is 2.5, and minus makes a plus. Oh, so I'm going to minus 5 equals, well, 4.5 plus 2.5 is 7. Yay! Okay, so my answers are 1.5 for x and minus 0.5 for y. Can't see that very well, but get the gist, hopefully. And again, different ways of doing that, you know, there are many ways, but hopefully you should always get the same x and y values, and your check should work if you did. 13. So, if we are multiplying in standard form, all we do is we times the numbers, so 3 times 16, that's going to be 18. And then we must remember with indices, if we're times them, we add the little numbers, so it's 10 to the power of 14. Now that's lovely, but if we are doing standard form properly, the first number needs to be between 1 and 10, and 18 is too high, so we need to change that to 1.8. which means we've got to times by an extra 10, because we've divided by 10 there, so that's going to be times, probably going to be easier, I'll just copy, an extra 10 times 10 to the 15. Alright, so that there is your answer, 1.8 times 10 to the 15. Alright, dividing, same sort of rules apply really. 3 divided by 6 is 0.5, then we put our times 10 in, and we're taking away the power, so 5 take 9 is going to be -4. Now again, I need to make that first number between 1 and 10. I'm going to write this out. So 0.5 was there, divided by 10 once, 2, 3, 4, so that is equal to that. So now if my standard form writing, that's going to be 5 times 10 to the power of, on there, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 to the minus 5. Jobs. Again. 14. Whoa, that looks like a nasty looking question. What is the area of the square formed in the middle bit here? 1 metre between each one, so that's 1 metre there. I need the area of that in the middle there. I mean, the way I'd be looking at it is I'd be saying, well, if I can work out the area of that bit there, then essentially I've got 4 of them in the middle here. So I can do 1, then I can just times it by 4 to get my answer. Diagram doesn't show it too well, but there's 4 of them in there. Okay, so at the minute I've got myself a triangle that looks like that. I know that that length there is 1, and I don't know this length, so I'm going to call that x and x. Okay, now if I'm going to work out the area of this, I need to know what x is, because then I can then work out the area of the triangle. Yeah, because then base times height divided by 2. So I reckon that looks like Pythagoras to me. We've got a right angled triangle here. So that means I've got x squared. I'm going to add another x squared, and that's going to equal 1 squared. Okay, because that squared plus that squared equals that squared, using Pythagoras. So if I take that a step further, I can say that 2 lots of x squared is going to equal 1. Because I've got x squared is 2x squared, and 1 squared is 1. So finally I can then say, well, x squared then is equal to a half. Because I can divide that by that. And then finally, x is now the square root of a half. Okay, the square root of a half is square root of 1 divided by the square root of 2, which I can simplify as being 1 over root 2. So now I've got myself an answer for what x is equal to. Is equal to 1 over root 2. So now to work out the area of a triangle, so the area of the rectangle there, I know that length there is 1 over root 2. I know that length there is 1 over root 2. So to work out the area, I'm going to times them two together. It's going to be that multiplied by that. And to multiply fractions, you just times the top numbers together and the bottom numbers together. So 1 times by 1, that's easy, that's 1. And root 2 times root 2 is root 4, which is 2. So the area of each square is equal to a half. And so finally the area of the big square in the middle is 4 of them. Area of square in middle equals 4 times half, which is 2. Meters squared. That seemed like a lot of working out there, and quite a difficult question to get to the answer, 2 meters squared, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's an easy way of doing that one. I'll have a look into it and see. But there's one method anyway. Winner. How are we doing? Nearly done. So, the graph shows the cost of gas from Gasco. C pounds, N is the number of units of gas. Use the graph to obtain a formula for C in terms of N. So, straight line graphs, we've got y equals mx plus C. Whenever you've got a straight line graph, the only difference for us is our y is actually C pounds, capital C, equals m, and x is our units, plus C. Now to work out what our m stands for is the gradient. So we want to know for 1 square to the right how many it goes up, while for 100 squares to the right it goes up 5. So the gradient then is going to be 5 divided by 100 to work out for 1 square to the right. It's going to be 0.05. So that's our m value. C equals 0.05 n plus, and then the little c is the intercept, which is 10 pounds. So plus 10. And that is your answer. Okay, so y is inversely proportional to the square of x, or to x squared. So that means, inverse means we put it over 1, like that. So y is proportional to 1 over x squared, which means our equation is y equals k over x squared. Like so. So now we need to put in our values, and x is 3, y is equal to 8. So swap our y for 8 equals decay divided by x squared. Well, x is 3, so 3 squared is 9, which means that k must be 72. So our equation is y equals 72 over x squared. Coolio. So now, using that equation that we've got, work out the value of y when x is equal to 12. Give your answer in its simplest form. So we don't know y. Y is what we're going to work out. 72 divided by 12 squared, well 12 squared is 144. So our job now is to simplify that. Well, let's half them both. 36 over 72. No, that's going to be it. Dividing both by 36 will give you 1 over 2. Of course it is. Because 72 is half of 144, so it's going to be a half. And there's our answer. Right, 17. Factorise 2x squared minus x minus 3. If we're factorising a quadratic with a squared involved, then chances are we're going to go double brackets. What numbers multiply to give me minus 3? Well, there's not many choices here. We've got minus 1 and 3. Or we've got plus 1 and minus 3. So now it's a case of trying to make the minus 1 that we've got in the middle there. Okay, so if I can get myself 3x and then take off 2x by having the 1, that one, then that's going to give me the minus x I need. So I think that's going to be 2x minus 2x. Lost my train of thought. 2x minus 3. X plus 1. And check it. 2x times x is 2x squared, 2x times the 1 is 2x minus 3x, and then 2x minus 3x is minus x, and minus 3 times 1 is minus 3. So we've got a winner. And them ones, I mean, like, if you can spot them, go for it. If not, you have to try everyone. Try minus 1 in the first one and 3 in there, expand it out, see what equals it. If it doesn't work, try 3 in that one, minus 1 in that one, expand it out and see if it works it. There's 4 to do. You'll find one eventually that works for the answer. Alright, now hence simplify. These come up a lot, and you need to remember that this bit here is always the same as part of the question down here. Okay, so you've done some of the work. That top line is equal to that. The bit you haven't done is factorise this at the bottom. Now hopefully we can note fairly quickly that these are both square numbers. So if I've got 2x here and 2x there, then I'm going to get my 4x squared, and then to get my 9 I need a 3 here and a 3 there. Okay, now because it's minus 9 here, then I basically need a positive 1, and I need a negative 1 to go there. Then that and that are going to be equal to each other. So factorise the top, factorise the bottom, remembering you've done one of them already. Then once you've done that, it's a case of just cancelling off anything that's the same. That there and that there are the same. So my answer is going to be plus 3. Surd, yay, everyone loves a surd. So, root 72 simplified by telling you the root 2 goes into it, which is good news. So let's have to work that out for ourselves. So root 2, well that'll be 36. So 36 times 2 is 72, and then root 36 is 6, so that'll be 6 root 2. So there's your answer, 6 root 2. Right, now expanding the brackets. So, root 6 plus 12, root 12 squared is the same as saying that times itself. Like that. So you just multiply the parts. Root 6 times root 6 will be root 36 plus root 6 times root 12 will be root 72. Root 12 times root 6 again will be root 72 because 6 times 12 is 72, and root 12 times root 12, or 12 times 12 is 144. So that's that. And now you just got to work out all that we can. Well, root 36 is equal to 6. Root 72, oh look, it's the same as what we've got above, is 6 root 2. Root 72 is 6 root 2, and root 144 is 12. That happens a lot, where part A links into part B, so don't go doing the work again. You've done it once already. Now you put them together, you've got 6, and you add in 12, so that's 18. And you've got 6 root 2, and you add 6 root 2, it's going to give you 12. Ooh. Root 2 altogether. And that's your answer. Okay, and they've kind of given you a hint that you're on the right lines because it's got a root 2 here, a number plus something root 2, 18 plus 12 root 2. Alright, and they come up a lot then, so practice, get your head around them. Oh, I've lost half the question. I think what it's telling me is the graph of y equals x squared is transformed 0 to, so it's been moved up 2 places. So what is the equation of that? Well, y equals x squared is what we started with, and if we move it up the y-axis, then basically all we do is we add on the number that's moved up, which is 2 places. So y equals x squared plus 2. It tells you that it goes through 2 there. The diagram shows a graph of y equals x squared. Okay, mine's not perfect, but it's not bad. On the same diagram, sketch a graph of x plus 1 squared. Okay, so if it's in a bracket, it basically means it moves left and right. And the tricky bit is it does the opposite. So if it's plus 1, then we move it 1 place to the left. So it's going to go to there. Okay, if it was minus 1, then we move it 1 unit to the right. Yeah, plus 3, 3 to the left. Minus 3, 3 to the right. So for us, plus 1 means we move it 1 to the left. Alright. Last question then, frequency density, histogram. The rules of a histogram is frequency density. It's frequency divided by the width of the class, i.e. 0 to 100 being 100, and 100, and then 50. And then we can rearrange that to get the frequency. Frequency is a frequency density times a class width. So I'm guessing we have to complete both the table and the histogram. So let's start by doing the table first. 0 to 100, 0 to 100, the frequency density is 0.9. So we're trying to work out the frequency, where it's frequency density times class width. So frequency density 0.9 times class width is 100, gives us 90. So that is equal to 90. Class width here is 200. Oh, we haven't got that yet. Ah, there we go. It tells us our total here is 800. Okay, so 90, 150, 240, 380, 480, 520. So that number there has to be 280. Take your time with that, I've done that quite quickly, but get your columns out, or however you want to do it, and add the numbers up, and then see what you need to make it up to 800. So that's that there. Now what bars have we done? I'm going to put a little tick by the ones that we've done, a little cross by the ones we've done. That's been done, that's been done, and that's been done. And finally, the last one's been done. So I need to work out the frequency density for these two here. FD for short. So frequency density is the frequency divided by the width. So for this one here, the frequency is 120 divided by the width, or 250 to 300 is 50. Well, that's the same as 12 divided by 5, which is 2.4. This one here, frequency density is the frequency divided by the width, or the width 300, 500 is 200. That's a tricky one. If we divide by 2, then that's 140, and then divide by 100 is 1.4. So they're my frequency densities, and my final job is to draw them onto it. So 250 to 300, we're going up to 2.4. Struggling to see the lines a bit, but I think that's there. What a disaster, didn't go far enough. And finally, 1.4 from 300 to 500. So there's that. 4 is there, so I'm going to go along to here, 500, and down. And that is that. I can't have that. That's got to be better. There we go. Alright. And that's your histograms done. In fact, I think that's the whole paper done. Right, hope that's helped. Again, any questions, ask your friends, ask your teachers, ask your mum and dad, ask anyone. Work out how to do them.